Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I know in the last video I said that I was going to be talking about threaded inserts, but I decided to just show you an overview of the coin collection mechanism, which is the next layer. It's the very bottom layer of this coin robot. Those of you who've been following along know that I'm trying to build a robot that is capable of sorting coins by date so that I can automatically find pennies that are worth adding to my own penny collection. In the last video, we talked about this piece here. I'm calling that the coin stacker. As we saw, the coin sorter will rotate over this area here. Now, this one's just a prototype, but you can see the general shape of the outside of this thing. All of the electronics and the camera will sit in this area here. You can see that these slots here line up with those holes that are in the top of that coin stacker. So as the pennies come down this ramp, they will actually drop into one of these slots. In that would sit one of these coin rolls. And I ended up actually over-engineering all of these, but it's kind of fascinating because there's a little catch right there at the top of this, and that latches onto this little space here. And this is actually also a compliant mechanism. And this has a little hook in the bottom here that latches into the base here. And that will, in theory, all connect like that. As you can see, this prototype doesn't quite line up very well, but you get the idea of what this is supposed to work like. Now, like I said, I even prototyped several of these. This was my first design. The thing that you'll notice about this is that when you rotate this out of position, there's a little bit of an angle that forms at the top of this. So this obviously would just push the top of the coin stacker up, and we don't want that to happen. So the next iteration, I actually chopped off a little bit of that angle so that these would actually tip forward when you're trying to pull these out. But in the final version, I angled that just a little bit so that you would be able to tip that forward and out. The other thing I did is to add these little tick marks for every 10 pennies. So this, or actually every 5 pennies. So you would be able to count off how many pennies had been stacked up in this just by counting the number of notches. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50, which makes a full roll. And the way that works is you would have one of these coin holders that sits in there, and the pennies would actually drop down in there. So if we just drop that, you can see that the penny lands in the bottom there. And we can stack 50 cents, which is a roll of pennies. Now, the interesting part about this is that I ended up realizing that wasn't exactly the perfect plan, because I had these ramps very spread out, and it covered most of the area of it ended up covering most of the area of the outside perimeter of this coin collection unit. But what I decided to do was make this just a little bit more compact. If I can rotate these to make these a little bit closer together, that leaves us more room in here to collect the majority of pennies, which actually will have low or very little value. And the finished version actually ended up looking like this. So I'm pretty happy with the way this came out, and I think it's pretty cool. Now, the other thing that I like about this is that there's a little drawer here that you can use to collect the majority of the change. But I think overall this is going to work out really well. And like I said, this coin sorter mechanism is going to sit up on top of this. It will spin on this bearing that I put in there very freely, and then it will be able, with a stepper motor, it will be able to select which one of these slots the coin gets dropped into as this passes around. And in this final position here in the center, it'll just drop down through the center and then it will collect in this larger container down here at the bottom. If I take this off, all the coin rolls are going to fall out, but you get to see from a top view down what that actually looks like. So that's kind of exciting. You can see that these actually rotate out, and you can pull those forward, and then you have this full-size drawer that you can pull out that will hold the majority of the coins. Now the higher value coins will be distributed along the outside edge, and they'll be placed in these coin rolls, but the lower value coins will all collect in this big drawer here. And all the electronics and the camera equipment on the lower half of the studio will be in this space here. So I think that's about enough for this video. For now, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay awesome.